Hey, folks, it's time for the quote of the day, and today's is going to be an important one. I genuinely believe that this is one of the more important ones I've done in a while, and that includes Nelson Mandela yesterday. This is going to be a guy that a lot of people don't know, though, unfortunately. This is a man whose name is kind of, honestly, it's kind of lost in history a little bit. But unless you're really steeped in like Marxist and Freudian philosophy, then you probably don't know who the fuck this guy is. But that doesn't mean that what he puts forward isn't very important because from what I can see, everything that he said has come true to some degree. Now, the man that I'm quoting today, his name is Herbert Marcuse. He's a German American philosopher that's relatively recent. I mean, he's a modern day philosopher. I think he died in the 70s. So he lived through World War II and things like that. And a lot of these things kind of affected his philosophy, but a lot of it came out of the 1950s. That's where you get to see him really start to look at society and diagnose some issues, if you will. And he came out with a book. I don't remember the name of it right now. I know that I've read parts of it. It came out in like 1954, 54, I think it was. And that was a big one. Eros and, oh, I can't remember the name of it right now. I'm completely blanking, but that's okay. And then in the 60s, he came out with a book called The One Dimensional Man. And this book is, I wouldn't say it's groundbreaking, but it's really, really important. And the problem is that when you read it, it kind of reads like stereo instructions. So you really need to read it like multiple times to really get anything out of it. I would say that I understood probably a good 60% of it, maybe being generous. But I'm going to try to give you a summation before I give you the quote. And the quote is very, very important. Again, please stay with me. I want to give you an idea of where this comes from. Marcuse is a man that under his entire foundation is in critical thinking. He's looking at things, understanding, a lot of the Marxist ideologies and things like that. A lot of people consider him to be a very leftist revolutionary thinker. I think that he would have a problem with that. He spoke out against communism, but he also understood the ills of capitalism. Now, the part of this that I think is really important for people to understand, and the part that he absolutely got right, even though he was wrong about a lot of things, the thing that he got right is he noticed and he understood in the 50s. Now, keep in mind, the 50s is widely considered to be by most people like the golden age of capitalism. Like what was happening is people were engaged in a system of capitalism, but they were getting a return. They were seeing a return on the money that they were spending. We were putting money into the system through working and taxes and so on and so forth, and we were getting something out of it. What he saw, though, was that people began to disengage. People got comfortable. People enjoyed their things, their creature comforts, and they ceased being engaged politically. They ceased being engaged in what was happening, community, the things around them. They didn't care as much about what was going on outside of their house, what was going on in their neighbor's house, what was going on in their community, what was going on in their city or their state. They didn't care about these things as much because they were just able to kind of put their head down and go about their life and do the thing. And this became our new normal. He spoke out vehemently against this. He's trying to ring the bells, trying to alarm people and say, look, this is bad. This is going to bring about the end of things right here. This is how it all ends. We have to wake up. We have to start to see that what happens is if you continue to do this, then you become a one-dimensional man or one-dimensional woman. All you're doing is taking the things that are being told to you, the mass media at that point in time. You're watching the news every night. You're watching the same exact programs. You're not really seeing like new art or anything like that. You're not really experiencing different perspectives. You're just doing the same exact thing that everybody else is doing. And yet you still beat your chest and talk about how great it is, even though everybody is just a carbon copy of everybody else because we're all engaged in the same exact thing. This is one of the just I can't describe to you how important this is to understand and how much this understanding of this phenomenon is something that I've understood my entire life, or a good portion of my life, and I've tried as hard as I can. You've seen me make videos over and over and over again talking about, please wake up, please be an individual, please stand out. You're the only one that can say the things you have to say. And the reason why I do that is because I've talked before about the idea of, people being cogs, about people living their life where they wake up, they go to work, they come home, and they do this every day of their life. They go to bed, they wake up, they go to work, come home, it's over and over and over again, and then they die. That's life. That's all life is. That is not what we're supposed to be doing with this fucking grand experiment that we call life. That should not be all that it is, but that's what consumer capitalism has brought us. That's what we are. He spoke out against this aspect of capitalism. It essentially creates a mechanism, a system all around it that makes it so that if you speak out, you are punished. It makes it so that revolution becomes something that not only is seemingly impossible, because nobody's engaged, but also is something that there is a distaste for, not because people don't actually want things to change, but because they're comfort where they are. They're comfortable. They don't want to get up off the couch. They don't want to go out and protest. They don't want to do this, because when you do that, you might lose your ability to show up and go to work and pay for the shit that you want and the shit that you have, because your entire life is about the acquiring of objects and things, right? Like, that's what capitalism does. And so it's important to understand that. Marcuse is absolutely, I mean, at this point in time, it would be hard to say that the man wasn't a soothsayer, like just absolutely saw the future, because we are living in post, in like late stage fucking capitalism. We're living in the world post this golden age. It's not that anymore. We don't have those opportunities anymore. We don't see those opportunities anymore, because exactly what he said would happen. People have lost their ability to stand up and be themselves. There's no more individuality, and those that do speak out and are individuals are oftentimes punished or exiled from the community, or told that we're enemies of the state if you're, dealing with the politics of the time. Now I'm going to give you this quote, and I think that when you understand it, it's a little long, but you'll get it. I'll read it twice. I want you to really, really listen to it, and then read what it says. Read it in the caption down there. Read it, because this is really important. The illusion of choice, the illusion of freedom that we have just drank up, and we just believe that is there. And like I said, we beat our chest and we say, look how great America is, look at freedom. But do we really have it? Think about it. Listen to it. Herbert Marcuse said, free election of masters does not abolish the masters or the slaves. Free choice among a wide variety of goods and services does not signify freedom if those goods and services sustain social controls over a life of toil and fear. That is, if they sustain alienation and the spontaneous reproduction of superimposed needs by the individual does not establish autonomy. It only testifies to the efficacy of the controls. I'll read that again and not fuck up the ending. Free election of masters does not abolish the masters or the slaves. Free choice among a wide variety of goods and services does not signify freedom if these goods and services sustain social controls over a life of toil and fear. That is, if they sustain alienation. And the spontaneous reproduction of superimposed needs by the individual does not establish autonomy. It only testifies to the efficacy of the controls. Now, I know that can be difficult. There's some big 10-cent words in there that some folks may not recognize, but it's important that you understand it. I can't give you the full understanding. This video couldn't possibly be long enough for me to have that discussion, but I think that if you really take the time and you really think about what he's saying, it is undeniable. It is absolutely undeniable. You cannot deny that what he's saying is absolutely accurate. And it's important that you understand it as we move forward into whatever the next version of America could be. If we're really trying to push for progress, you need to understand this. Happy birthday to Herbert Marcuse. And to the rest of you, Take care of yourself. Take care of others. I'll talk to you soon.